Hey, everybody. I am Kevin Iole from Yahoo Sports. And if you're not excited enough over that card last week, UFC 273, which was fantastic, we got another fight on this card that's going to be kind of keep that thing rolling. In the main event on Saturday at Apex, Belal Muhammad, number 6 ranked welterweight in the world, is going to fight this young man, Vicente Luque, number 5 in the world. This should be an unbelievable fight. Joining me right now, as I mentioned, is Vicente Luque. Vicente, how are you, my friend?
Hey, I'm doing good. Excited for this fight. It's going to be a big one, and definitely it's going to be a action-packed fight.
You guys fought in 2018 at Madison Square Garden. You won that one by first round knockout. And I'll get into that in a second. But I want to ask you this. Do you feel like a little bit in the welterweight division you fly under the radar? Like there's still not people saying, hey, I want to see Kamaru Usman fight Vicente Luque, right? You've won 10 out of your last 11 fights, 14 out of your last 16. And I think if I'm not mistaken, out of your 21 professional wins, 18 of them by finish. And yet I don't hear a lot of people saying, hey, we want to see Luque fighting those top guys.
Yeah, I think I'm not that trash talker. I always keep myself really, I don't know. I'm just respectful. That's my way. But I do the talking inside the octagon. And I think now is where people are starting to really see that and starting to really see my style and what I can bring. So yeah, I do think it took a while. This is going to be my first main event. I thought I could have one before. I'm excited enough to have main events, but at the same time, it's fun. It's exciting to finally get to this point where I'm going to have a big fight. And now people are going to start realizing that, yeah, I can put anybody in this division in danger. My style is the style to match up against these guys.
Yeah, I mean, you've done some remarkable things over the recent while. I want to talk to you a little bit about the progress that you've made because when you first started out, I think at one point you had won 3 and lost 3 in a 6-fight span. You weren't looking like, hey, this guy's going to be a world champion. Nobody was going to be saying at that point, hey, watch Vicente Luque, he's going to be the next big thing. What changes? Like, what clicked for you that helped you get on the streak that you're on and make you the fighter you are right now?
I think that these losses were the change, they were the click. So I had to learn from every loss. I had to, little by little go getting experience and developing as a fighter. I talk to a lot of people and people sometimes think it's I don't know, it's funny, but I wasn't super talented fighter. I didn't start off as a talented guy. I just really enjoyed MMA. I wanted to be a professional fighter. I wanted to become a champion one day. And that made me work hard and get to where I am. So in that beginning, maybe that lack of talent kind of cost me a little bit on some fights. But my effort and my dedication overcame that. And then I built what I needed to get to where I am right now. So, yeah, I had a rough start, but I was tough enough to survive that and keep on going and now have this great career.
Was it the love of the game? Like, because you think getting punched and kicked in the face, and especially if you're not as talented as these guys you're fighting and they're coming out looking to take your head off. I mean, that can't be too fun getting whacked like that, right? I mean, was it the fact that you knew you could change your life or your family or was it just, hey, I love MMA and I love trying to compete?
I think it was a little bit of all, but mostly like the love for the sport and my competition. I'm a really competitive guy, but I'm not the kind of competitive that just likes to win. I like to do whatever I decide to do until I win. So I might lose 10 times in a row. I'm going to keep on going and keep on pushing until I win and until I reach what I want. So yeah, I don't know. It's just something like a lot of people say I'm hard-headed, and I'm definitely hard-headed. And it brought me, to where I am now. So I don't know. It's just something that I proposed myself when I was 15 years old. I decided I'm gonna be an MMA fighter, a UFC fighter, and I'm gonna be champion. And that's what I'm gonna do until until I can't do it anymore.
What are the hard times like? Like when you're coming off a loss or a fight that you thought you should have won, and you didn't win it. Like what is that like, and what goes through your mind? How do you avoid, like, so many people let negative thoughts creep in, right? How do you keep those negative thoughts out?
I don't know. I don't try to keep them out. The thing is, I'm a really positive guy, and I always try to see the bad, like, I don't know, negative thoughts don't even come into my mind. And whenever I feel like pressure, for example, pressure is something that motivates me.
Mm.
So sometimes, I don't know, people look at this fight and, hey, it's a rematch. You beat him in the first time, so you got to go in there and beat him again. And in a way, that's building pressure. I got to do something. I got to show everybody how good I am. But then again, hey, it's an opportunity for me to train harder, for me to get ready, and know that Belal is going to come in and try to, get that win back for him. And that just motivates me more. So the pressure, I always turn it into motivation and ways for me to get even more ready for this fight.
Do you think that fight was the moment for you that, you sent the sign that I'm on the way to the top? Because, Bilal had a really good record at that point. I think he had one loss, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was 10-1 at that point in his career. A lot of people were talking about him as, hey, keep an eye on this young guy. And you knock him out in the first round. I mean, a perfect left hook, really good ground and pound. Do you think that was the one that kind of started you on this journey that you're on now?
I mean, for sure. I think there are some wins that are like investments, and that was one of them. When I beat him, he was an up and coming prospect, and he was a big deal already. And after that, he just had a even greater career and
Right.
built his way up all the way now. And I still have that win over him. So it was a win that over time it became bigger and bigger, and just made my name even bigger. So it was a great win in my career. And right now, I understand why we're having this rematch, because he has improved and he has beaten so many guys. So at this point, it's something that makes a lot of sense, and we're at the top of the division.
I did a story on him, and I think maybe the same question applies to you. He's ranked number 6, one spot below you at number 5. But you look at who's ahead of you, and the path to the title, even with a win for whoever wins this fight, is really hard still. Because you got Colby Covington probably going to fight Khamzat. Is going to be out there. You've got Gilbert Burns sitting in the division. I mean, there's a lot of guys ahead that make it hard. How do you keep your focus and not get frustrated, for the lack of a better term, by that, and keep your focus on what's important?
I mean, the thing is, I can't control anything else besides what I do. And what I do is fight Saturday night and go out there and try to get the biggest win I can. And that's all that I can control. What's out of my control is not for me to concern about. What I definitely can do is fight, and that's what I do the best. So I'm gonna go out there Saturday night, work as hard as I can to get a big win, and I think that's gonna move me closer to the title. And obviously, the division right now is really in action. So we don't know who's gonna get the next title shot. We gotta wait for Kamaru and Leon, but I'm definitely gonna be looking to stay ready and fight whoever I need to fight. If I need one more fight or two more fights, we'll do it. We'll do it. But right now, my focus is on getting a big win. And I don't know, depending on the win, I can skip everybody, and jump in there. We'll see what's gonna happen.
Let me throw this at you, because I know you're very close with Gilbert. He fought Hamzat the other day. What was your take of that fight? Did you think Gilbert fought a good fight, smart fight, and what's your assessment of Chimaev as a potential opponent?
I mean, the first thing is, like, it was a great fight. It was an unbelievable fight. I love to watch it, and I think what Gilbert did was something really hard, because Hamza was starting. He is starting. He doesn't have many fights, so there isn't much to study on him, and he has a lot of first round finishes. So it's also not a lot of things to watch on him. So, and the whole aura that was built behind him, like he's a monster, he's gonna kill everybody and dominate the division. And Gilbert went out there and fought a guy that is great, is a great fighter, but nobody knew much about. So he had a game plan, but a lot of it was gonna be decided and discovered at the moment of the fight. And I think Gilbert did great. He reacted great at adversity. He kept on in there, fighting as hard as he could. Even though the size difference was notable, he was able to overcome that in different occasions. So I think it was a great fight. I think it was a great fight on Gilbert and on Hamzat, and I thought it was really close. I didn't see it as a unanimous decision as at the end it happened, but it was a really close fight. And I don't know. I just think it was good overall, and I wish Gilbert had come out with a win, but he did it, no problem. Things are still gonna keep on going as they have to go, and now we have a new top five guy, and that's exciting. New challenges in the division.
I love it. I love it so much. I forgot to mention Leon Edwards when I was rattling off all the other guys in that division. So there's another one in there. I want to ask you this. When you look at your fight with Belal, he's going to look at that and say, hey, I just happened to get caught, right? That's what happens when you're the one that gets knocked out. From your standpoint, do you remember the finish? And did you set that left hook up, the left hook that dropped him? Was that something that, you set up and then executed?
So that left hook is something I've been working all my life. I'm with my coaches and everybody. They know that my left hook is really good, and we just train it a lot. So I wouldn't say I set that exact counter up. Like, okay, he's gonna hit me with a straight right, and I'm gonna counter him with the left hook. But that's something I do a lot in training. So it definitely was something that happened because of my training and because of having so much skill, developed on that specific technique. But I don't know. I try to look at that fight as if it never happened because I don't like to have it in my mind and maybe by some reason underestimate Belal because I know how tough he is. I know how much he's gonna study me, and he's gonna make sure that he doesn't get caught on the same shot that he got last time. So it's not like, oh, I'm gonna get in there and knock him out again in the first round. No, I'm ready for 5 rounds and 5 tough rounds.
Let's wrap it up with this. His fight against Stephen Thompson, the guy you fought in the past and had a great fight with. He dominated Stephen Thompson. Now I know Gilbert had dominated Stephen first, and then he came back, but he still went 5 rounds and dominated, or 3 rounds, excuse me, and dominated Stephen Thompson. What was your take on that fight? And did you see anything in there that you feel like said to me, "Hey, I have to keep an eye on this"?
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole fight, is something for me to keep an eye on because I'm a striker just as Thompson is. So the thing is, whenever I see a guy dominating Thompson the way that Bilal did, that's a big warning for me. Like, okay, this guy's gonna want to go in there, not let me fight where at least not let me fight where I like to fight, which is striking, and gonna try to control me and ground and pound me. And that's what I'm expecting in this fight. Obviously, he has good striking as well, so I'll be ready for that if he wants to strike. But I see him trying to take me down. He has he has great conditioning, so he's gonna want to use those 5 rounds, and that's what I anticipated, and that's what I got ready for. A lot of resting, a lot of grappling, and having my own tools. To put him in danger over there too, because I have tools in grappling, so it's not like guys are just gonna put
Byron
me
Woodley
down
found that
and
out.
control me. Exactly. I'm not the kind of guy you're just gonna take me down and control me. You can take me down and you can try to control me, but I'm gonna make sure that you're gonna suffer in between, that controlling. So yeah, I think it's I don't know. I gotta be ready for everything, and that's what I did in this training camp. Be ready for every kind of weapon that he tries to use against me, and try to impose my will and impose what I do, which is striking. That's what I'm going to be looking for.
I'm going to make a proposal. If you win this fight by Darce choke, because you've won the last 2 fights by Darce choke, I'm going to say, let's change the name and no longer call it a Darce choke. Let's call it a Luque choke.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's something that I really like and I train a lot. So we'll see. If it happens, it happens, but it's not something I'm going to be crazily looking in there. If it does happen, it's going to be just because there was the opening, but I'm going to look to finish every single minute.
Well, I appreciate you've been really generous with your time as always, Vicente. I wish you the best of luck. See you Saturday at Apex. Good luck against Belal Muhammad.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And I'm going to put on a great fight as always. Let's go.